I cut off my husband's family after he passed away.
That's me. That's the blade cutting off.
Got it. And this comes directly from the r/OKstorytime subreddit. My husband and I, him 33 and I 31 when he passed, had known each other since I was 12 or 13 years old. He was my brother's best friend in high school. I worked for my dad and was around our family when I was married to my ex. We started seeing each other after a year of me being separated from my ex, and shortly after we found out I had gotten pregnant. This was a huge deal because I already had 3 kids with my ex-husband, and my husband had been a bachelor his whole life, so it was going to be a major change for him. By the way, this comes from NoCorner9398, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we did everything the best we could to introduce him as my partner to my kids, and he very quickly became an amazing stepdad. They loved him so much. He coached my son's football team, gave advice, spent quality time with all 3 of the kids, and was so patient and kind. He moved in with us a few months after, and we were so happy. Before our son was born, we put down a payment on a new build and watched our home be built. We moved into our new home in August, and in October, we got secretly married in Mexico. The people we spent time with knew that we referred to each other as husband and wife, even before we were legally married. Only his best friend and the wife knew that we were legally married. 10 days before my son turned 1, my husband passed away. To this day, nothing makes sense about how he passed. He was hit by a car while at work and was in so much pain, then suddenly passed in his sleep 4 days later.
Wow.
The autopsy says he passed of natural causes, but it doesn't make sense for a 33-year-old healthy male to just pass of natural causes. We obviously started talking about suing the man who hit my husband with his truck and think this is where his family became very selfish. I guess the thought of making a buck outweighed a relationship with their grandson and nephew and me. They were not happy when I called myself his wife to the coroner. Well, you're legally his wife because you got married in secret.
Secret wedding. You guys know nothing.
Yeah.
You know nothing, father-in-law.
Yeah, they could object, but you can be like, well, here's the information.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law and younger sister-in-law objected and said we had only been together for a short time, but the coroner told them I was the wife and shut them down.
Boom. Coroner.
Nice. Coroner for the win.
Confirmation.
Yeah. When we went to the funeral home to plan everything, I asked mother-in-law and sister-in-laws what they wanted, and I picked everything based on what they wanted except for the clothes I wanted him buried in. The funeral home told us the date when the bill was due, and no one spoke up on what amount of money they would be helping with. My dad and I showed up on the due date at 4 p.m. to pay in full because no one else had offered to help with any cost. The funeral and reception was over $30,000.
Oh my gosh. That's so much money.
Just burying me the cheapest way possible.
Right?
I mean, I would like to be cremated.
Yeah.
If there's a cheaper way, that's okay.
Just put some dirt on me.
Put some dirt on me,
Leave it at that.
get rid of me.
Say some
I'm
words.
gone. I don't care.
It costs nothing to say your piece.
Yeah, say it at your house.
Sure.
Mother-in-law invited my husband's ex-girlfriend to the funeral and asked her to sit with the family. She was mad because I wanted to keep my husband's necklace for my son instead of burying him with it. Of course you would. That's your
Yeah.
son. Like, that's a connection to your husband.
Yeah.
His family does not sound very thoughtful. Mother-in-law and younger sister-in-law showed up to the funeral home with multiple people to cut my husband's hair after being told to come alone. While mother-in-law was there, she demanded that the crucifix needed to be handed to her after the priest blessed it, even after being told that it would be going to me. If she would have asked me for it, I would have gladly given it to her. My sister-in-law changed the obituary that my best friend and I wrote. She said, I just wanted to fix some grammar, and took out any mention of me being the wife, only referring to us as partners.
What the heck? It's like, well, that's
not true.
That's not grammar. That's not
Yeah.
grammatically or legally correct.
Yeah.
What about that? Huh?
When she changed it back to me, I let it be that she changed 90% of what it said, but I changed it back to call him my husband and sent that to the funeral home for the online obituary. At the funeral, my mother-in-law did not hug me back when I went to say hi. My younger sister-in-law told me I had to sit on a different side than them at the church. The funeral home lady told me that the wife sits on the side they told me not to sit at. My younger sister-in-law had a printout of the obituary that she was handing out, and it was the version that only referred to him as my partner. And she had a different picture printed of my husband, even though I printed a picture that they picked. Mother-in-law ended up buying a separate crucifix so she could have it blessed as well. But when the priest blessed both, she purposely took the one I purchased from the funeral home.
What?
I would have been none the wiser, but the funeral home lady came to me in private and told me that the one I was holding was not mine and that my mother-in-law took mine, which was apparently gold. These people are terrible. I'm so sorry.
What's up, mother-in-law? What kind of stick you got up your butt?
Yeah,
Let's get your booty stick out of here.
Yeah.
Go home with your booty stick out of your butt.
I mean, like you're all dealing with the loss of this person that you love.
Yeah.
Why do you have to diminish OP's love? Why can't it all just be a sign that your son was so deeply loved?
Right. This priest has got to like cleanse your face and bless this booty stick so that maybe when that stick is up your butt, maybe you won't be so terrible.
Yeah.
Bless that booty stick.
Bless the booty stick. Sure.
Yeah.
At the reception, my mother-in-law did not speak to me at all, and I later found out that she had my husband's ex-girlfriend helping her walk around the whole time, introducing her to people.
What?
Then she and my younger sister-in-law left without saying anything. My older sister-in-law asked me to give her my husband's phone so she could unlock it for me the day he passed away. She then let me ask for it for 2 weeks, giving me excuses on why she couldn't meet up that day. When I finally asked her if she had any intention of giving it back to me, she said no, because her brother was a private person and I shouldn't be allowed to go through his phone. When I said I wanted pictures and banking information from his phone, she told me I must be hiding something.
What?
Her logic didn't understand that she had had his phone for 2 weeks, and if I were hiding something, she could have easily found it. After the funeral, 3 weeks after his passing, my older sister-in-law invited me to dinner and promised to give my husband's phone back to me. At this dinner, she again told me she didn't actually want to give me the phone. I disclosed that we had gotten married in Mexico, and we hadn't told anyone but the lawyers. And they suggested I tell the immediate family before they found out in the court proceedings.
I'm so surprised that she hasn't already told them.
I would have already told them.
Yeah.
I would have been like, just so it's clear, I am his legal wife.
Yeah, I was kind of like assuming that like within all of this they knew, because like it feels like she's like, well, they just won't give me the
Did they know?
Yeah, won't call me his wife. Like, what's going on? It's like, well, maybe
Do they
like,
know?
It's still rude, but yeah, maybe like tell them, show them the legal documents.
Yeah, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I left the dinner with the promise of her letting me borrow the phone so I could get the pictures and information I needed, but she didn't bring the phone with her to dinner. 2 days later, she let me know that she did not believe me that we had gotten married in Mexico,
Bro.
and told me she spoke to a lawyer and had no obligation to give me the physical phone. What do you mean? I'm just sending her the marriage license.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's open to the public.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's the marriage license.
Right. Also, you really spoke to a lawyer to see if you needed to see if it was okay to give or to keep your brother's phone and not show it to his wife.
Yeah.
That feels so fake because there's so many lengths to go to to find out that small bit of information.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
After I waited the 4 days because I couldn't do the 2-step verification process, I found out that she had canceled my request on his physical phone. I had to call Apple and wait another 5 days to be able to have access. Around this time, it got back to me from my husband's best friend that my mother-in-law had been telling many people that I had poisoned my husband.
Bro.
Okay, and at this point, we've learned that these people are insane.
They're so crazy.
These people are they're telling other people that you unalived your husband.
Dude.
They're actually insane.
Yeah, they're like trying to come up with some sort of coping mechanism for this grief that they're carrying.
Yeah, this horrible loss.
It's like you can't be like, blaming someone else for the loss of this guy's life. We know what happened. Like, yes, some people said that like, oh, it was natural causes, but like I feel like those natural causes could be that when you get hit by a car, you might pass away.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty natural.
That was a pretty weird way for the doctors to put it when there was like an obvious, probably like a obvious reason, like maybe internal bleeding. Maybe there was some sort of thing that happened in the car accident.
Right.
Which, I mean, that happens, where someone gets through like in a traumatic injury.
Yeah.
And then thinks that they're fine, but there's some internal thing going on.
Right.
It's weird that they didn't look into that further.
It's so weird because it's like, well, then what do natural causes even mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like, there's so many different ways that we talk about someone's passing. It was like, okay, yeah, they got hit by a car. Oh yeah, they passed away from cancer or from this disease or whatever.
What are you considering natural causes?
Yeah, because usually how people use that word to communicate is like when it's someone
age,
old
yeah.
and their body just stopped working because
Yeah.
it couldn't last that long.
Because this guy was like 31.
33,
It's
yeah.
not- or 33. That's not natural causes.
Not at
That's
all.
something happened after the car accident that you guys didn't see.
Yes.
A natural cause of passing is a passing that occurs due to an internal disease or the body's natural aging process without external forces like accidents or violence.
Which is not what happened here.
Examples include heart disease, stroke, cancer, and organ failure.
Yeah, like wouldn't they mention any of that stuff though? Like you could still consider it natural causes, but wouldn't you mention like, yeah, there's like this internal problem.
They were just like, I don't know, he just passed away.
He
Like
just- it's just that's all we got.
Since then, my mother-in-law has hidden my husband's car that was parked at her house, kept his dog, kept a watch that was for my son, kept some other personal belongings that were supposed to be given to me, forged my husband's signature on a power of attorney for his car. You can sue her for that. You can
True.
absolutely, if you have proof of that, you can sue her.
Yep.
And continue to spread rumors that my husband was not that serious about me, didn't believe our son was his, and that I poisoned him. And that's when you get the paternity test and just start saying, here you go.
Yeah.
And you have a stapled or like stapled document that's the paternity test, your marriage license, and then like doctor's report.
Yeah.
And we just bring that everywhere.
Dude, I totally forgot she was pregnant too.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Let me make it clear that my husband was not rich and only had a $15,000 life insurance policy that was not even in my name. It was in the older sister's name and she kept it all. If it were not for my dad, I would have lost my home already, and I can't afford to live in the home that we just bought together myself. My lawyer filed a petition to make me executor of his estate, a townhouse that he only bought 3 years ago and his last paycheck, and it was granted within a couple of days. But a month later, my mother-in-law filed a petition against me saying I am not his wife and my son is not my husband's. Those are so easily disproved. She added 2 testimonies of 2 women claiming to be his best friend to say that he expressed to them he had no intention of ever marrying me and that he asked me multiple times for a DNA test. One of these women met my son and me on the day my husband passed, and the other woman only met my son once and me twice and is the older sister-in-law's best friend since high school. My lawyers gladly sent over my marriage certificate and the DNA test proving my husband is the father. We had the undertaker at the funeral home take the DNA sample before we buried my husband. She is still not dropping the petition against me and is asking for a settlement. No. At this point, sue her.
Sue
She's
her.
defaming you.
Sue her for having a booty stick in her butt.
Also that.
I think that legally no
she's-
one should have a
she's getting
stick up their
arrested.
butt.
You're arrested for that.
To jail.
Straight to jail. She wants another DNA test and wants a relationship with her grandson if he really is my husband's. By the way, you can have a relationship with us if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
Just keeps getting worse.
Just keeps getting worse.
Booty stick upper butt is just getting so much worse for her. I feel like I need to not go into detail of that bit because it's just gonna get grosser and grosser.
Yeah.
I choose to leave it there. But yeah, she's sucks. Is a booty face,
Yeah.
which we all know is a bad person.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
But that's the end of that. No, it's not. I keep doing that. It's not the end of the story, folks. There's a little bit more. She sucks. Your family or his family sucks. And I think if they keep defaming you, I would sue them. Because you have all the proof that he married you and that your son is your guys' son.
Yep.
Yeah, sue if you have the money. But I know you're having like monetary trouble, so it might help. A little context on the woman. She lives in a 4-bedroom house in Section 8, lives off disability after being mugged 15 plus years ago, sued Coca-Cola for $75,000 for a can exploding in her car,
Wait, what? That's wild.
is a hoarder. 2 out of 3 of her children don't have a dad in their lives, and stole the majority of my husband's 401k when he was in his 20s. My husband has been gone for almost 6 months, and I'm still dealing with the lawyers going back and forth because she won't give anything back. My husband's best friend and his wife are my son's godparents and have been an incredible support system to me. We see each other almost daily, so I am so grateful that we have them and my family to love and see my son grow up. This is ridiculously long and is not even over yet. I also probably left some other horrible things that his family have said and done to me. And that is the end of that story. But OP, you are one of our own, and I'm so sorry that you have gone through this.
Yes.
Just this loss, but then also having to deal with, these awful people when you were grieving your husband.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Best of luck to you. I feel like, obviously you've got a good head on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You've got some other people in your life that are helpful, so hopefully you can lean on them a bit. But yeah, I'm sorry for this booty face girly that's in your life.
She stinks.
She stinks like a booty.
Stinks. That is the end of the story, and we've got another one.
My fiance's mother is making my wedding planning a nightmare.
Oh, nightmare.
My mother-in-law, Sleazecake, is a C-word basket. She and future father-in-law have always disliked me. They are so clingy over their 3 adult boys that they feel like any significant other is a massive threat to their entire family. They tell dear fiancé that I'm controlling and poisoning him, making him a negative person. By the way, this comes from user Antelopes Anonymous, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do in this situation, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. My fiancé has been dealing with depression and anxiety. I've known for the whole 5 years we've been together, but he's only recently decided to start seeing a therapist. Probably because until recently he was doing an expert job at shoving his emotions away as if they didn't exist, which has always bothered me. He's also realizing he's codependent and struggles with feeling like he has to please everyone rather than focus on himself, ultimately doing this at the expense of his own happiness and sanity. Of course, his mother and father are in denial that their flawless child could be depressed. They think his emotional issues are all a direct result of me. Ever since he started getting treatment, he's been annoyingly fragile or vulnerable and is almost trying to use his depression as a card. Sorry, I can't do the dishes. I'm too depressed. Sorry, I didn't mean to be a huge wiener. I think it's just because of my depression, etc. I, on the other hand, have been dealing with borderline personality disorder /bipolar /depression /anxiety since I was like 13 and have been seeking a therapist for a decade. Pausing really quickly. It sounds like you've been addressing your mental health for a decade versus your partner who's only been addressing it very recently.
Yeah. So there is like a
maybe
there.
cutting him a little slack.
I feel like when you begin your mental health journey of like, I think the fact that he's like actively trying to work on it.
And he's literally just saying like, sorry, I think that was my depression, not being like, no, you're going to have to deal with that because I have depression.
I think
that's
if he
not
were
what he's
to
saying.
say, if he were to say like, I'm just depressed, that's why, and make no efforts to change that, that's different. But if he is actively trying.
Right, which he is. He's going to therapy.
Yeah.
Until recently, I felt like I'd been making major progress in my own personal treatment for the first time in my entire life. Despite all of this, we've made appointments with a couples therapist we haven't gotten in yet, and our individual therapists don't think that our relationship is unsalvageable or beyond repair. So this weekend, his mother and father came to visit because they always insist on visiting several times a year. They live in another state. At first, my spineless fiancé said it was because he didn't know how to turn them down without causing a ton of drama. But now he's claiming that he actually wants to see them more often, and it's making me worry that he's not ready to cut that umbilical cord and isn't actually as emotionally independent as I thought he was. Girl, I mean...
Wait, can you repeat that?
You're acting...
Can you repeat that sentence?
Wild. She's trying to say that maintaining any level of connection with your parents,
crazy.
it sounds
no,
like,
that's what I
is
thought.
not cutting the umbilical cord.
That's really unfair.
But yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, of course. It's completely, that's not right.
Unless he's being enmeshed and not listening to your concerns and stuff like that, and just siding with his parents and stuff all the time, then this is just kind of, I mean, like it's pretty normal for people to want to have a relationship with their family.
It really sounds like
I don't know.
One person in this story wants the relationship to be
completely
wrong.
Yeah.
They got in on Friday and we went out to the most uncomfortable dinner of my entire life. My fiance and I had prepared for this. My parents offered us $10,000 for our wedding and honeymoon to spend however the F we want. I'm turning 26 in November, and I'm currently on my parents' health insurance. I have a ton of costly health problems. My fiance has great health insurance. I'm self-employed. We decided to elope in Banff in November for the sake of health insurance. but wanted to make it fun, hence Banff, instead of just going to the courthouse.
Wait, what does Banff have to do with your health insurance?
Yeah, what does eloping for the sake of health insurance have to do with anything? You mean maybe eloping so that you can get on your fiance's health insurance? I assume because it might be from a company, and once you're married, then you can also have his health insurance?
I think just saying like we got married for the health insurance, but we eloped because it was easier. I think that's like the general vibe.
Hey, don't get married for health insurance.
Well, a lot of people do
Didn't
that.
you just say the other day, get married for taxes?
I don't know. I
No,
don't fully agree
it's
with
a
that.
benefit. It's
I
something
think a lot
to...
of people would do that. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, ideally, you want to have like actual love and
Also, I'm goofy. When I say get married for taxes,
He's a little
I'm not
goof.
being serious.
Get married for tax evasion? Cool.
Commit tax fraud.
anywho.
We'd each bring a friend as a witness. Then, several months later, we'd have a ceremony where we'd invite the family and friends and repeat our vows. As far as everyone else would be concerned, this would be the real wedding. We wanted the elopement to be a secret. I like secret wedding. We decided to tell our parents about the plan out of respect. My parents were cool with it. His flipped their lids, obviously. Sleazecake was so, which is what OP is calling her future mother-in-law.
Cool.
Sleazecake was so offended that we were getting eloped that she told everyone she knew and intentionally omitted the part about the follow-up ceremony, even though she knew it was supposed to be a secret. My fiance has a massive extended family, and of course he wanted them all to be at the reception. After doing a bunch of budgeting, we decided we just couldn't do this all on a $10,000 budget. The new plan would be to elope in Banff in November, each bring a friend, and invite the immediate families. Then we wouldn't have any follow-up ceremonies or anything. We would just leave it at that. Even though the thought of having his family there makes me dread the ceremony so much that I'm not sure I will even enjoy it. Have you, properly expressed all of these feelings to your partner? Like, that you despise
know.
his family to this level?
Does he know? Did we get any information that she's expressed that?
We expected his parents to be angry with this plan, but it's our wedding, and they aren't helping pay, and it's all we can afford. But we knew they'd be unhappy. Fiancé wanted a huge reception too, so we agreed that if they insisted on a reception, we would say that they'd be welcome to throw us one themselves, which seemed pretty reasonable. So at the dinner, we told them about the new plan. And as expected, they flipped the F out. Sleazecake said some revolting, gag-worthy crap like, "See, I knew my baby would never betray me. I knew he needed me to stand at the altar with him." Is that typically how that goes down?
What?
Do the parents stand at the altar?
Not usually, no. Unless they're part of like the, the groomsmen or the bridesmaids.
Think again. Your butt is staying in the seats. I'd never forgive you if your best woman got to see my baby boy get married and I didn't. But it was future father-in-law who was extra disturbing. He straight up told us that we did not have permission to have this wedding, as if we're children and as if he is paying, unless we had a follow-up ceremony for their a cajillion million cousins and friends of aunts of middle school mailmen to attend afterward. We had both agreed that my fiance would say that they were welcome to throw such a reception for us because those two already hate me, and if I said something like that, they're more likely to hear it as an uncooperative retort. But my spineless fiance rolled over and immediately said, "Yeah, you're totally right. We will redo the budget again to allow for that." What?
That's frustrating for him to just be like, well, we're going to use money we don't have to accommodate all of these people that we don't really care about having at the reception.
I just don't like any of this at all.
Yeah, it just
I'm not
feels like
liking
there's a
any
lot
of the vibes from any side of anyone in this story.
Yeah, I mean, like you're calling your
0%.
partner spineless. Doesn't feel like a great relationship.
And I can't imagine why their parents hate you so bad. Seems like the feeling's been pretty mutual.
Yeah.
Guys, this is a great example of someone who needed to use the silly baby approach.
Yeah.
Okay, when you really, you can't just outwardly despise unless you've been given the green light to do so.
Yeah.
You can't just outwardly despise your partner's family and parents. So sometimes you gotta go, hey, look at this silly baby trying to
parents are
tell
really
me that
something.
I need their permission to get married in a certain way, huh? What a silly little baby.
Yeah.
I then got a 15-minute lecture about how marriage is about families joining and how it's so unbelievably disrespectful that I haven't met his extended family yet and blah, 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 blah. In much more words, he basically said that this marriage is about their family, not about the two of us. I wanted to throw my drink in his stupid, ugly face. I also was kind of confused as to why he even wanted to introduce me to their family so badly if he hated me so much. It was all very bizarre and convoluted. That's when Sleazecake chimed in to ask the name of the hotel the wedding would be at. I told her and she looked it up on her phone and said, "Oh my God, this is so pretty, husband. We have to stay there." My fiance finally spoke up and said, "I don't know, Mom. It's $500 a night. We found several other really nice close hotels for our guests to stay at." But she insisted, saying it was too nice not to stay there. And father-in-law backed her up, saying, "We're not about to fly all the way to Banff and not have a family vacation. We want to stay with you guys and enjoy Canada together as a new family." Well, see, now what you're describing is intruding on a honeymoon now, kind of. We're getting married, and then we're going to spend that time together.
Yeah,
not
and your husband
with you.
needs to be like, I think your husband needs to say, no. I'm not saying I don't want you to come because it's too expensive. I'm saying don't come because we're having a honeymoon there, and that's our time. It's not a family vacation. I don't know. There's just like, I don't know.
Starting to see why you were so upset at everyone involved here, OP.
Yeah.
But it sounds like nobody has really good communication skills to
None.
properly navigate this.
Yeah. And if you're expressing this to your partner and your partner's not standing up for you, then this is not a marriage that is going to last the way that it is.
At this point, I was effing triggered. Actively trying to hold back tears, I said, "Well, we're staying at the hotel for the rest of the week as our honeymoon." Sleazecake says, "That's wonderful. I imagine you're snowboarding. Well, we'll bring our skis and join you." No.
Nope.
What the F? Do they really not know boundaries? My fiance tried to explain that there are 3 different resorts nearby so they could go ski at one of the other ones while we were snowboarding. And his mom was like, "But how often are we going to get the chance to ski in Banff with you guys?" If it's that important, we can make a plan, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we make a little bit of a plan.
This is ridiculous. Your husband just like letting them walk all over you guys. Now I understand why you called him spineless. But I also think that if you're calling your partner spineless, then it's not a great relationship.
Future father-in-law then asked what else we were planning on doing while we were there. I stepped on my fiance's foot so he know to shut up, because obviously his question wasn't innocent in nature. My fiance effing screamed, "Ouch! What the F, girl?"
Yeah, like stop talking. And why would you do that? Because it needs you to stop talking.
At this point, his parents glared at me and I excused myself to the bathroom to freak out in privacy. As I was walking away, I heard him begin to tell his dad about the world-renowned spa, and I heard his mom say she couldn't wait to use it.
Okay, and now I'm seeing the enmeshment. It seems like we got all of like OP just kind of told us all this stuff and we're like, we didn't have any proof of it. And now we're getting all the proof of it.
Yeah.
Yikes. He's bringing his parents on the honeymoon?
Apparently, when I was in the bathroom, his parents pressed really hard to get fiancé to give them my parents' phone numbers so they could discuss finances and wedding plans and get everything all arranged for us. No! What the F? We're not children. This is not their event. Thankfully, my fiancé refused, but it made his parents livid. I told my parents about it afterwards, and they said it was no big deal and to give them their info and that they'd handle it. I made my parents promise not to let his parents make any decisions for us or anything, and they agreed. But I'm still very nervous and uncomfortable about all of it. My parents assured me it wasn't a weird request, which also felt really weird. What is this, 1854? We can plan our own wedding. Thank you very much. When we got home from dinner, I called my parents, sobbing. I told them about the honeymoon thing, and they agreed that was completely out of line. But then fiancé came in to say they absolutely did not invite themselves along for the honeymoon. You're exaggerating. You heard what you wanted to hear. Excuse me?
So where did you invite yourselves?
That launched into a huge, gigantic argument. He started crying and laughing hysterically, which was actually really creepy, and he said he felt like he was caught between feeling like he wants a hug from his parents and a hug from me, also very creepy. And I told him that wasn't okay and I need to be first. I told him I can't compete with his parents for his affection and that I don't know if we're ready for marriage if he is this emotionally dependent on them. He just kept saying that he hates that he has to choose sides. And I said, yeah, it sucks, but you're wasting energy wishing it was different. It's not. At the end of the day, you're going to have to choose, and I don't want to marry someone who can't put our relationship first. He says he loves me, and that he's on my side, and that he chooses me, and that I'm first, but I just don't effing feel it. He doesn't act that way, and I've told him that. I tried to explain that it's okay for his parents not to be perfect people, and that doesn't mean he's not allowed to love them, but he only got offended. I said I think he needs to limit some of the interactions with them, and he lashed out. He kept crying, and I said, dude, it should be evidence to you right here that you are too terrified to cry like this in front of your parents, but not in front of me. There's so much of yourself that you have to hide from your parents. You can't actually be your true self in front of them. And that seemed to finally get through to him. He said he wanted to change, but I don't know if I believe that he wants it badly enough that he'll actually follow through.
I feel like OP's kind of getting the ick.
Yeah, I think so. She's like, this guy.
It's a little icky.
Yeah, we need to unmarry him.
The fact that OP...
have you married yet? I don't think you've married him yet.
No.
I think you need to not marry him.
OP hit him with the dude.
This is like a little snapshot into what the rest of your life is going to be. If you're calling your future partner a spineless little man and you hate his family and you think that he never listens to you, don't marry that guy.
Yeah, I feel like this should have been brought up way before we are even calling each other, fiancés.
Absolutely.
Because we always reach this conclusion, and then the moment he sees mommy again, he goes back to square one. The rest of the weekend was filled with way too many of Sleazecake's antics towards my fiancé. Every time I tried to very gently bring it up with him in private, saying that those made me feel uncomfortable and that I think he should try to cut the hugs short, he would get quite defensive and say that I only thought they were abnormal because my parents never hugged me when I grew up, which is true, but I still think he's wrong.
Wait.
I do think it's crazy to criticize hugs.
Wait, what did she say was wrong with the hugs?
I think, okay, so this is what I'm gathering, okay? I think that there is a level of wrongness on both sides of this story. I think that clearly, given the previous sentence, OP is not used to and kind of perturbed from a family dynamic that involves like
affection,
parents really liking their child,
physical, affection.
It's not something that they're used to.
Yeah,
and OP is clearly in a situation where his parents are so on top of his business that whenever they're around, he loses all independence and reverts back to this state where it's like, well, I'm a child and I have to just submit to the will of my parents.
I think that's true.
Because I cannot say no to them without it becoming an argument or a fight that I have to defend myself from. I think there's also that element of like, yeah, well, if I do get married to you and you clearly hate my parents, like that is going to limit the amount of time I spend with them.
Yeah, which I don't think he's willing
care
to
about
do.
them, and they are getting older, and we only have so much time with the people in our lives. And he's probably going through a whole cocktail of thoughts like that.
Yeah.
But it's really only being boiled down to you're a spineless wimp by OP, his fiance. And I just think there's a level of just like,
I think you guys just aren't a match. I think at the end of the day, he's got his own issues to deal with. You've got your own issues to deal with. Neither of you are willing to compromise.
Consider this.
Considering.
What if they are, and I'm not saying that this is good or bad. I'm just saying what if. Like, would it still be equally weird if they're at this hotel and they're experiencing this stuff, but the only time they ever cross paths is like snowboarding or skiing? Because it's Banff. That's like where you go. That's the destination for skiing.
Well, it seems like they want to ski with them. That was like what they said.
But I mean, like, the spa, the hotel, the pool. It's like if the only place where their paths are crossing is outside, like skiing at the resort, is that still that big of a deal?
I think so.
I think so.
I think so because OP wanted it's a honeymoon. Yeah. You're supposed to spend this with your partner.
I think if I was on a honeymoon, I really would not want and I love my parents. I have a great relationship with my parents. Don't think I would want them on my honeymoon.
No, that honeymoon is going to be
not really
for you and your
on
partner.
The honeymoon.
Yeah, they
are.
Yes, they are. They're in the
making
same
it pretty.
place. And they've also said we want to ski together.
They want to do the spa. They want to do
They're
all
probably
this
gonna
stuff.
want to get dinner together.
I don't know. I guess I've snowboarded a lot. I don't feel like it would be that much of a difference.
It's not
hitting routes with just my partner versus my partner and my parents.
But it's the context of the honeymoon. If it was like, oh, let's go on a trip to Banff, fine. But this is a honeymoon between OP and her
I mean,
partner.
to be clear, I don't think that these parents would keep it at just the slopes, but I was just putting it out there of does that make a difference?
No, yeah, it's intrusive. Cowboys God says it's intrusive. I agree with that. I think I agree with what Sophia said. You guys are not ready. You guys are not at a level to figure this out. You got your stuff to work through. He's got his stuff to really work through, and you can't do that together.
No, agreed.
Unless if you guys like take a couple steps back, slow it down.
Agreed.
But he's got to really dial it up and figure out what he needs to do with his family before he gets into a relationship with you. He can't do both at the same time, obviously.
No, sir.
It's not worth it.
It was also filled with Sleazecake and future father-in-law getting angry when I would have to slip away for a few hours for work because OMG, how rude. She's self-employed. Why can't she schedule the whole weekend off for us? She's doing this on purpose. The parents spending literally 15 hours of each day with us. my fiance getting ultra defensive anytime I had anything less than gushingly complimentary things to say about him or his family, and his parents trying to push us to go to California with them in 2 weeks, even though we've told them 15 times that we can't. But I'll tell you something you can do, which is listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you have access to the entire archive. And we do have a little bit more story left. Yeah, I think that you definitely might want to put things on hold for now until you can work through both your relationship and he can work through his own relationship with his parents.
Agreed.
I thought fiance and I were making progress. I thought he was making progress on his own with his parents too. I thought he was getting better at standing up to them, but all of a sudden he's regressed. Now he's saying that one visit a year with family isn't going to cut it for him. He did apologize for trying to force a relationship with his family on his terms on me, but I don't know if it was sincere or if it means he'll stop. And right now, I don't know if the proposal even came from a genuine place. I don't know if he proposed because he honestly loves me and chose me, or because he loves me and thinks that's just what you're supposed to do. I don't know if I feel like we're ready for marriage anymore. I don't even know how to feel about us. I feel like I'm not in the driver's seat of my own life anymore, and I feel like I'm engaged to his parents, not to him. I feel like my fiance has been hijacked by a child this last year, and like our relationship is all of a sudden foreign to me. And I don't know how to fix any of this, or if it even can be fixed, and I'm really scared. And that is the end of that story.
I think that you guys need to postpone the wedding.
Postpone your relationship.
Yeah, I think honestly, like I don't always understand the point of breaks in a relationship, but on this point, I think that would be good. Doesn't mean like necessarily have to break up forever, but I think taking a break, figuring your stuff out, figuring out if you still want to be in this relationship would help.
I think the real problem here is that you're snowboarders and his parents are skiers.
And at the end of the day, that's the real problem.
I think
you guys
I think
Romeo,
if his parents were snowboarders, they'd be chiller.
The Montagues and the Capulets of the ski
what?
slopes. The Montagues.
I heard monkeys.
You said monarchies.
I heard
not
monkeys.
what I said at all. I said the Montagues and the Capulets.
We both heard something else.
Don't know how you heard that. There's a recording of it.
Whoa.
The Montagues.
Let us know what she said the first time, chat.
My mother-in-law demanded an apology after family therapy exploded.
That sounds dangerous.
And trigger warning for mentions of emotional abuse. After almost a decade of toxic behavior, I think I have finally gotten to a point of full acceptance for myself in a good way. I do not recommend this because it isn't for the faint heart, but I agreed to join one session of family therapy with my husband, his 3 younger sisters, adults, and their mother. By the way, this comes from The Effort 27, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, most get-togethers became volatile, which has been normalized in this family. Things had been fine, quiet enough, until after what everyone thought was a beautiful Christmas together. We drove 14 hours with 2 babies, and it was a new experience all around upon arrival. I now realize that happiness and happy families specifically are these people's triggers. A few months later, mother-in-law initiated a strange conversation with me that eventually turned into a disagreement. I had extensively, but not even fully, explained to her my feelings due to her actions over the years. I was met with a classic backhanded apology and then the silent treatment. After years of this similar type of toxic abuse, couples counseling, individual counseling on both me and my husband's part, postpartum therapy including EMDR for my childhood traumas, and 2 babies both under 3 years old, I have decided that mine and my children's safety was at risk. She says, I'm too difficult to talk to. So my mother-in-law wanted her and me to do therapy. I agreed under the stipulation that she does some individual sessions until they felt it was a good idea for me to join. She agreed, but I never heard from her again. You never heard from her again?
Wow.
She disappeared? She was gone?
Like a
She agreed?
like a little
Dakota, stop
like
farting.
a little toot in the wind.
Stop. Everyone heard that. Stop farting. Just like a fart in the wind. Until months later, her oldest daughter texted me, adding me to a group chat saying she was glad everyone was on board with family therapy. I responded in the group that I had not agreed to this and that if any of the 3 sisters I hadn't heard from in 6 months had a reason for me to be included, they could discuss this in a private message with me, and I left the chat. The oldest messaged me, dancing around the subject while not trying to divulge her true sinister intentions. A flying monkey sent to defend her mother's honor. This was a gang-up. She denied it and became very angry that she wasn't getting her way. She lost it completely and dropped the whole idea until I mentioned that it would appear to be a gang-up on me if she didn't follow through in family therapy with her own family. It was stated by my husband that there had been major issues long before we met, and he wanted everyone to be a loving and supportive family unit because he loves them and wants them involved with his children.
I saw a comment earlier, I think it was from Gayla. It was like, I would rather eat broken glass than go to family therapy with my now ex-mother-in-law.
I mean, it
can be intense, for sure.
Kind of. I mean, like, I totally think the validity of, like, family therapy with your immediate family is good.
Yeah.
But to put their issues on you is quite strange.
They're right there.
They did 2 sessions, and he confirmed it was a gang-up, and he couldn't even answer the doctor's questions because of constant interruptions. He wanted me to join just 1 session, and I agreed to fully support him. But this was my last hurrah, so to speak. When my husband brought up volatile behavior and animosity between them all and the issues surrounding their late father, whom he was the only one speaking to due to a nasty divorce, they just kept bringing me up instead. They said I need to be there because I was family. I never met the dad, but I hear about him constantly. A friend kindly let us use her bedroom for the Zoom meeting while our kids had a play date, which none of his family considered could be an issue for us. The session was everything I expected and more. The therapist asked me what I think is the issue, so I began to explain an overall gist of the tone in the family and how it affected me. Since there were multiple members, it was very difficult for me to keep the discussion from derailing. I pointed that out, which led to more deflecting and blame shifting. The biggest outrage came when I shared my feelings and perspectives. It became apparent that I am not allowed to have those. Any answer was met with aggression and correction. Yes, correction of my perspectives. On one hand, there was an outrage that my husband would dare share or discuss anything said about me behind my back. On the other hand, it's completely okay for everyone else to discuss matters with their friends or significant others, because that's different. Double standard. Any truth I spoke about atrocities I endured, only ones I shared with witnesses or proof, was met with aggressive vitriol and offensive laughter. I began to realize they were really losing it. Why did they even invite you? Just to dunk on you?
Did they just come here because they were like, this isn't going well. Let's all unify against OP.
You're the common enemy they needed to unite as a family.
And then after it's over, they're like, wow, I feel light as a feather.
I feel bonded to you all equally.
We're so good. I love you guys.
I love you guys. You guys
love
are the
my
best.
family.
The youngest sister was the voice of reason. She was clearly mistreated. The middle one was grubbing a giant sandwich.
Rubbing a giant sandwich.
Sorry, wait, she was grubbing a giant sandwich during the therapy appointment?
Sometimes you just need a good sandwich.
And wanted to discuss herself, how busy she was being a bartender and planning a wedding for next year, but has been engaged for 2 years, so me asking for help was an inconvenient time. She lives 5 minutes away. She decided yesterday that she's stepping back and might decide to contact me in the next few years, to which I asked how that was any different from the present course she's taking. The oldest daughter, who lives overseas, had nothing important to say because she had zero involvement in anything discussed, except she had the most to say while also being the most aggressive. I needed to apologize to the mother for what I said to her because she's an elder who should only be given respect. I asked if there was any interest in knowing what may have led to this text. She interrupted, she yelled, she laughed, and was more than usual alarmingly aggressive, all while in a cloud of her spliff she was puffing on. Is this during the appointment? I'm sorry, we've got someone grubbing on a sandwich, someone smoking a spliff, all while we're trying to have a family therapy appointment? Who are these people?
It's called therapy, and I guess the sandwich was therapeutic. The spliff was definitely therapeutic.
I'm imagining this just like happened like at home, like in the living room, and the person you were told was a therapist is just like an uncle. Like,
It's just a therapist. It's just my cousin, my cousin Vinny.
my cousin Marty.
Yeah.
Hey, Marty, check out this broad. Doesn't she suck?
Yeah.
Listen to her talk about her problems like they matter.
He went to a school in Connecticut. School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, he been to school on that.
Yeah, you thought he went to Harvard? No. He's had a hard time of it.
Harvard? I barely know her.
Anyway, a full-on tantrum with the works, huffing, pouting, saying she was done, but kept interrupting. She said, I'm done. And one more thing. Then the mother, the biggest victim of all, she demanded an apology, which I refused. I asked her to read aloud the text I sent or clarify what was offensive. She finally disclosed that I called her wasted. I didn't say that to her, but she is. I worked in bars for 20 years, and everyone she knows, including her children, love a few drinks at all times. My husband no longer drinks, but she always tries to make him. I felt she was unfit to watch our children, which only came up because she couldn't understand why we wouldn't send our children states away for a week with her alone. I began to explain what my husband has also explained to her multiple times. That she has crossed every boundary with me like it's some sort of childish game. I only realized how bad it was when she started doing it to my children, like giving screen time when we explicitly said not to, refusing to know about bedtime routines, and not understanding basic words my son says because she hasn't spent much time with him. She refused to help him go potty even though he's potty trained very early.
Potty.
And she complained about the kid's schedule, like I wouldn't take them out to a restaurant for a 7 p.m. reservation for no specific occasion. Then I mentioned the only 2 times she watched my baby girl. She handed her back, saying she had a bad temper. 6 months old. She said the 6-month-old baby had a bad temper.
Hey, this baby's got a real attitude
This
problem.
baby keeps crying.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to hand her off to my cousin Vinny. He's going to teach her about the School of Hard Knocks.
He's gonna take her down to the construction yard, teach you what a real hard day's work is like. So this baby will stop complaining so much. This baby needs to understand how easy they got it.
He's all day.
Why don't you try having this kind of attitude down at the docks where I work?
But upon changing her diaper, her girl parts were alarmingly red. It had never happened before, to which my husband asked if she used Lysol wipes.
What?
There's a possibility that this lady used Lysol wipes instead of baby wipes on your daughter.
Hey, what's the difference?
These all wet wipes.
Hey, what are you talking about? I saw the word wipe. I got the job done.
We also later found out they tried to let her cry it out, but it didn't work when we left for 45 minutes. Literally never let these people around your baby again.
It's not like a toddler having a tantrum in the terrible twos. This is an infant.
By the way, it would be terrible if you do not listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left of the story, but I would literally never let my child around these people again.
How did your husband make it? How did your husband make it out of childhood with these people? Being his parents.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Crazy.
Well, I just wanted to be clean. That's why I also dunked her in a tub full of bleach. Because I heard that's really good at disinfecting.
Like, these people are either like idiots or willfully just don't care.
Crazy.
And this is all coming out in therapy? This is a crazy therapy session. The mom blew her top, raged up close in her computer camera, denied everything. It's video, it's Zoom therapy. I forgot that was I forgot they said that. Yeah, okay, this makes sense. But thankfully, my husband vouched for me and bared witness to these facts. I laughed, probably out of shock. She and her daughter lost it even more while shouting, "You made me do this, and this is what you wanted." And then the session was abruptly over due to the psychiatrist's time constraints. Psychiatrist said, "And that's so much time I gotta go by."
Guy had his finger just hovering over the button to end that. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh my.
Jesus.
And then immediately went to his own therapy.
Yeah, he said, "You will not believe the day I had."
I literally can't stand these people.
The mother sent another group message stating we should all do what her daughter says, which was stepping away for a long while. I immediately left that chat as well. There is endless, overtly textbook toxic behavior. So what do you think will happen next? I don't know.
I don't want to know.
I would cut these people off.
I think they won't
They're
be allowed
a danger
to
your
watch
daughter.
your child ever again.
Ever. But that's the end of that story,
And then he
folks.
gets older, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know. The kid was hungry. We just started feeding him those little packets that come in the beef jerky packages."
We started feeding him the little Jello packets. What are they called? Tide Pod?
Tide Pod. Hey, you know they
Jell-O?
look so good, and
He wanted them.
We figured that they really tell you not to eat the silica gel packets because they don't want you to find out how good they taste.
So yummy.
So we've been feeding that to the kid, and then, whatever. He's been real quiet all day.
But that's the end of that story. And we've got some comments.
Yes, we do. So we have comments from the video, My Family Hates Me Because of My Sister-in-Law. And this was posted November 7th, 2025. This is going to be from the first story. And here's a quick TLDR of that story. So, OP, 24 male, defended his sister-in-law after his overbearing sister, insulted her for having an emergency C-section. Instead of backing him, his brother and parents blamed OP, accusing him of flirting with the sister-in-law and trying to steal her, despite him being openly gay. Now OP's family thinks he's manipulative, and he's left questioning if his mom can ever see the truth about his brother and family drama.
I remember this one.
Okay, so you give it a little bit more context. If you're curious to know the full story, you can go watch the full video.
I think OP was just like critiquing or trying to like help out the wife because she was kind of not being treated well. And then everyone was like, you're just doing that because you're trying to steal your brother's wife.
I do remember this
You're not allowed to
story.
be nice to women unless you want to make them your wife.
But they were already super homophobic, so it was just
like, oh, two birds. I do remember this was like a two birds, one stone. They just wanted an excuse.
Once you have a life partner, you're not allowed to be nice to anyone else. Otherwise, you want to steal them and make them your wife.
But we do have some comments here. Comment number 1 by Eminem42. It's Eminem. As a mom who didn't have a C-section but did get the epidural, I praise C-section moms. It is not the easy way out. They cut you all the way, even pulling apart the muscle. While you're awake, typically, they even will sometimes have to lift your intestines out of the way. The recovery is so much harder and usually much longer. C-sections are not easy. They are terrifying and intense. I know many who had to do the emergency ones. Even my recovery time was intense, long, and I didn't have one. Also, was only given high-dose ibuprofen for aftercare recovery. After tearing and stitches. All birth is hard and painful, but it makes me so mad when people say C-sections are the easy way out.
Yeah.
To all C-section moms out there, you rock and are truly awesome and some of the strongest women are out there.
Crazy.
they like made a comment about her
easy way out.
having an easier time with the pregnancy because it was
I
crazy.
do remember all of us reacting like, you're like, you
Women
stupid?
tearing women down at its finest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You had to literally slice your
Yeah.
actual abdomen open. Pff, easy way out, faker.
Yeah, you had a shorter pregnancy.
You've never even
What?
given birth before then.
You just want the
loser.
attention. You're just doing it for the attention. We have a couple more comments here. Ashley Patton, 2304. They say, this makes me so mad. I had 5 C-sections. I've not been able to move for days after each one without immense pain. I ended up in the hospital floor crying for 10 minutes once because I had to get up because my baby was crying. I fell due to the pain, and I just lay there until someone came. My husband had gone home to take care of our other kids, so I was on my own. For some reason, most hospitals have eradicated nurseries. I guess they don't think women need to recover, but my guess is to save money, but still charge you in a nursery charge. On top of it, I am deformed from all the surgeries. I wish I had done it the natural way. My sister-in-law was walking around the same day, and I have never been able to do that. I was jealous because I wish that was my experience. I mean, to all the mothers out there.
Yeah. My mom had to do a C-section because I was a enormous freak baby.
Yeah, I was a C-section.
Dang.
I was born a month early.
Whoa. I was only born a couple days early. I was supposed to be born on the 4th of July.
Me too, but I was a month early. Remember this?
Yeah.
You were. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
You were probably a month early because your ghost made you came early.
I said, get out of there. Get out.
Your ghost got in there and was like, we're ready to go.
Let's go.
We're ready to go right now.
But we have one last comment here from bomb.com2168. That first story is absolutely insane. These people are absolutely disturbingly harmful to OP and his sister-in-law. The fact that they blamed her for the loss of the first child is despicable. I hope she runs far from them and can find peace in a healthier family. As for OP, I hope he and his boyfriend are well and don't have to put up with so much family drama anymore. And there is a small edit. Another comment. How many of my comments have they read? Apparently we're reading another one. So thank you for that, bomb.com.
Nice.
We'll read all of your comments.
Nice.
I don't think you don't need to
Keep
compare.
commenting and you just might get your comment read as well.
Pregnancy is just hard for everyone. So
Yeah, well, thank God men can't do it, because if we could, we'd make it look easy. If that's not a clear joke, you need to get off the internet. Go back to joke school,
joke school.
where we've all been.
Yeah, I went to joke school.
I went to joke school. They all knew you there.
I went to joke school. They said, "Where's the principal? She's missing. We've been looking for her for years. We want her back at the school."
Those are the end of the comments and the end of this episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you,
And see you tomorrow.